Today I'm going to teach you how to get restaurant residencies, and we're starting right now. Hey Earthlings, my name is Sylar and I'm a professional magician. My aim with this channel is to A, showcase my magic for you, the muggles, and teach magicians the business side of magic. If any of those is of interest to you, please consider subscribing right now. Today I'm going to teach magicians how to get a residency in a restaurant. Now there's multiple reasons why you would need a residency. We'll get to that maybe in another video, maybe quickly in this video, but the main thing is, how do you get that residency? Now quickly, the reason I'm qualified to sort of teach you all of this is because I've been a waiter for 10 years before becoming a full-time magician. So I can see the problems restaurants are having and how to fix them with magic. So after being a waiter for 10 years and doing magic at the same time, I went full-time magician, and I kept doing restaurant residencies because that's where I feel more comfortable and that's where I feel I could get the most gigs. So I broke this down into several things. There is a timestamp in the description if you want to have a look and jump in between the video. Now the first step is finding the right venue for you. What do I mean by finding the right venue for you? For example, if you're a family entertainer, you might want to find a pub that's family friendly, that has a lot of families in, so you can get more clients from there, or just be advertised. Or, even if you don't want gigs from it, it's your ideal audience. Why would you go perform in a nightclub if you do family shows? So pick a family restaurant and go pitch to that. And so on, if you want corporate clients, pick a restaurant in London that all of the business people go for lunch and then perform just to them, and so on. So firstly, look at the type of venue you want. So look at the type of the performer you are, and then choose a venue that would work for you. Now let's say you found 3, 4, 5 restaurants that are perfect for the type of performer you are. What do you do next? The next step, the main thing I would recommend, is not go in and just chat to them or send them an email or something like that. My strategy is go and be a customer. Now, because I worked as a waiter for so long and with so many people in the industry, I know, and even you as a customer, you probably know that being a customer in a restaurant is the best thing you can be, because then you have access to talk to anybody there. Because you're a customer, you're paying for their business, so why wouldn't they give you their time, if that makes sense? So take those 3, 4, 5 restaurants, go in with a friend, a partner, whatever, have a meal, have a drink, scout out the place, and then ask to talk to a manager. Now at this point, you do have several steps you can take. You can either ask to talk to the manager straight away, they'll call him to you to the table, chat him up and show him some magic, or start performing to the staff, depending on how busy it is. In certain restaurants, I managed to just go and perform to the staff, and then they went and called the manager for me, and then I performed some stuff for the manager and impressed him as well. But the main things at this point is, once you're a customer, you should be able to have their attention. Obviously, don't do this if it's a Saturday night and they're super busy. Even if you're a genuinely normal customer, people won't have time to talk to you. So go on a Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. Those are the sort of quote-unquote dead days of restaurant business. So go down on a Monday or a Tuesday, I don't know, say 5, 6 o'clock, because it's completely empty. Have a meal, have a drink, scout out the place, and then jump into action and talk to people. Now, once you spoke to them, what do you offer? What is the thing that you say to them to get you to book you? So at this point, there's 2 things you can do. One, offer them a free night on a completely different night. So say, oh, Thursdays, for example, aren't that busy, but aren't that dead either. So I'll come in for 2 hours, perform some magic, and then you can get some feedback from your customers. You can watch me do my thing, and then you can judge if this is something you would like in your restaurant. And then me performing in your restaurant, you can tell me if it's a good restaurant for me. Because at the end of the day, you have to sort of match with the restaurant, because everything can go well until the free night, and you get there and you see that the types of customers that are there maybe don't enjoy your type of magic, or maybe they wouldn't hire you or anything like that. So it's very important to make sure you're happy with the venue as well as them being happy with you. The other thing you can do, and I recommend this if this is a possibility, if you are there on a night that's not really that dead, so let's say Wednesday or Thursday, maybe try and perform some stuff on the night. So actually, if there are a few tables, show the manager some stuff and then say, look, there's 3, 4 tables here. Do you mind if I go around and perform a bit, so then you can get some instant feedback and then we can chat about it and hopefully book me in? Because with selling anything is the more you convince the person to buy into you or the product at that point, the easier it will be for them to do it, because they're in the state of mind of excitement. They've just seen magic, they've just seen you perform, they want to have you in there. You know, if you give them like a week to settle down and think about it, it might not be the case. So ideally, if you can, on the night, be ready and just go and do a few tables. Okay, so now the next step is, what do you do after the free night or after you performed when you were a client there? So at this point, let's say you did the free night and then you're sitting down with the manager / owner on the night. Now at this point, there's two things that can happen. A, you negotiate the payment, or B, they don't have the budget for it, so they might not want to have you. So we'll come back to performing without any type of payment in a bit, but let's talk about payment and what I'm typically paid as a resident magician. So the prices can vary between, say, 50 and £200-300. Now it depends on the venue, it depends on the day, and it depends on how long you're there. But I will probably make a video of how to price yourself in the future, but this is kind of the same but a smaller version. So price yourself whatever you think you're worth, but also realize that if you're doing a wedding, the budget's way bigger. If it's a restaurant, especially if you're there every week or every month, they're living on a tight budget. My main thing that I use to convince them that it's not a problem to pay me £50 to £100 is, especially if the free night was a success, is give an example of, let's say a couple comes in, they see me perform, and then the next week I'm there, they're gonna bring 2 friends. Those 2 friends are gonna spend at least £50. If that happens with 2 tables every week, they basically pay for me. So me being there brings in new clients. Now, that's not the only thing, obviously. The other reason they need to have you there is in case they're super busy, you can keep people entertained while their table is being cleared. In case food is being late, you can entertain the people while they're waiting for their food. Now, I know it's a restaurant and you wouldn't necessarily want a magician when you're waiting for your food, but because I worked as a waiter and I did this, even when I was a waiter, I would perform to my clients because the food was late, or I would perform to people that were waiting for a table to be cleared by one of my colleagues. So trust me when I say that these are problems that good restaurants sometimes have because they're busy. There's nothing you can do. You can't predict how crazy a night can be. So I would say, regarding pricing, obviously look at the venue, maybe ask if they have an entertainment budget, and then go from there. But I would say don't mention a price until they mention a price. So especially you can make it sound even better if you say, look, for a typical corporate event, I charge £600. But for you, because I might get some clients out of it and I get to practice some of my new magic, I'll do it for £100 a month. How's that? So it sounds way better than going straight away, oh, £100, because majority of people, they don't know how much magicians charge. So any price to them could be too much or too little. You have no idea. So I would say keep it between £50 and £200. Another thing I want to talk about is, should you do a residency for free? And for me, the answer is 100% yes. I know a lot of performers that refuse to do this, and that's absolutely fine. I'm just going to give you my reasoning, and then it's up to you to do it or not do it. There are, for example, I did a pub. I walked in, I did my whole thing, everything I just told you. The manager was super excited, so I wanted to perform. And he said, oh, come back in a week so we can talk about it. I came back for the meeting, and he said he spoke to the main branch and whatever, and they don't want to give him a budget for entertainment. Now, this is a franchise of over 50 pubs, you know. As much as the manager is impressed by me, there's not much he can do unless he gets the budget from the higher-ups. So at this point, he was like, oh, give me 3-4 months and maybe I'll be able to get something for you. So I said, look, instead of me losing 3-4 months of business here, how about I come in for free? And then if a budget ever comes in, that's fine. If not, don't worry about it. At this point, I think it's been 2 years since I've been doing that residency every week. And it's one of my best residencies to get bookings. Every 2 weeks, I would say on average, every 2 weeks, I get a wedding or a corporate event just for that. And because there's a franchise of over 50 pubs, they've invited me and hired me for several other events that they do as a franchise. So even though I'm not being paid by the pub, they do pay me when they bring me in for these massive events, which I wouldn't have been in if I wasn't at this actual restaurant. Okay, so before I wrap this up, I just want to talk about tips. Like, if you get tips from people, what do you do with them? Do you take them? Do you not take them? Again, different magicians have different opinions. I'll give you mine, and then you can kind of do whatever you want to do with them. But generally what I do is I either get them to give it to the staff, or I take it and give it to the staff myself. And here's the reason why I do that, because especially in a restaurant, the staff, the waiter, they know their customers way better than you would. So, you know, if those waiters see that I'm getting tipped, then they might think that that's coming out of their tip, and I don't want them to think that. So I want them to be on my side. In order for them to be on my side, I'll give them that 10, 20, 30 pound tip that I'm making. Because again, if I get a booking out of that, that's 600 pounds for me. I don't necessarily need that 30. But if I give that to the staff, then they appreciate it, and then they will find me tables without me even asking. There's certain venues now where I just walk in and I don't have to approach any table. I'll just have the waiters come to me and say, look, that table is ready in 5 minutes, that table is ready. They speak to the table, they'll go, look, hi, we have an amazing magician here tonight. He's gonna come show you some stuff after you finish your meal. Is that okay? So that takes a lot of weight off my shoulder, and you have that whole awkward phase where you go to a table and they say no, and then all the tables after that will say no. So I really don't want that. So if you can work with your staff, with your waiters and bartenders, I 100% say do it. If you don't want to do it, that's fine, just keep the tip, you know, do whatever you want. This is just my advice of what I did and how I managed to achieve it. You take whatever you want from it and use it or not. It's totally up to you. Now, hopefully I broke this down properly. If there's any questions, please leave them in the comments. I will definitely do a follow-up video for all of these how-to videos, just to kind of wrap up stuff that I haven't really spoken about. So before we go, I guess if you enjoyed this video and you got something from it, please consider subscribing. It would really help a lot. Also, like the video and just leave a comment, you know, if you want, I guess. I promise by the next video I'll hopefully get a haircut. I can't wait to get rid of this. It's so big, but I am excited. Also, I have a Patreon now that's also linked in the description. There's some extra stuff you can get. It would be awesome to get you on there. It's only £3 a month, so hopefully you want to join if you want. You don't have to. I'm not your dad. I can't tell you what to do, so you do you, you know. Oh, and the last thing, follow me on Instagram at Sylar Magic, so we can chat and stuff if you want. Again, do whatever. Thanks a lot for watching. Have an awesome rest of the week. I'll see you next week. Bye.